Hi everyone, I'm Suzanne Neufang with GBTA coming to you live from Singapore at our 2024 APAC conference. And today I'm here with Tammy Routh, who is SVP of Sales at Marriott.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here today, Tammy.
Thank you for having me.
How's the conference going?
It's so good. I'm so glad I'm here. I think that, I have global responsibilities for Marriott, and so it is so important to get to every part of the world and hear directly from these customers and our own people. So it's been invaluable. So thank you for having this conference. It's amazing.
Certainly, global is everything.
Everything,
So what are some of the global trends that you're seeing at Marriott?
Yeah, it's certainly a good time to be in the hotel industry right now because everything has come back. So leisure is back. It's evened out a little bit because you'll recall that was the first to come back after the pandemic.
Yes.
So it's leveled out, but it's still very strong globally. We're so pleased with business travel. It's back, and while we started with small, mid-sized business was the first, the big corporate customers that are here have now returned, and for us are over 50% of our business travel revenue, and so we're very excited about that. Maybe not quite back to 2019 levels, but we're getting there. But the one that's just, we're shocked at how much has come back is group and meetings. Now, it does vary by region.
Okay.
We're a little softening in the U.S., a little bit of China with, it's more China for China still, but still much better than it was. And overall, very good.
Well, that's good news for the whole industry.
It is good news.
I think
yes.
that's true. How do those trends then influence how you look at changing traveler needs as part of that?
Yeah, I love that question because we spend a good part of our time at Marriott talking about how to better serve the customer. And there's a lot of different kinds of customers. So we're always talking about things such as how do we invest in technology that takes a combination of high touch and high tech and blends that together to give customers a choice. Because we know the younger travelers are not going to necessarily want to pick up a phone and talk to somebody. They're going to want an amazing digital experience. And then we will have others who want more of that high touch. So we spend a lot of time talking about how we get our digital assets right so that for those customers that want to buy that way. I think the other thing is our loyalty program, and this might kind of surprise you because it's not as much about just getting people to be a loyalist so they get points, which is a nice part of that, but it's the common language we speak at Marriott. So if you are working at a front desk, if you are a housekeeper, if you are in global sales, if you're the president of the region, we all have this common way that we think about how we have ambassador customers and we have silver, etc. And what does that customer get? And in the B2C world, it's very defined. And my job is to figure out how do we also do that in this B2B world? And how do we make sure that not only do we recognize and personalize by a customer, like a big corporate customer, but also individually again. And this personalization is everything because some people, again, want to have more of a select service experience where they could I don't need a bellman, I just want to go to my room, give me a mobile key, let me check in, and others want much more high-tech service. And we need to be able to help travel managers serve that up in a way that drives compliance. We never want to drive compliance away from a travel program, but help them with traveler satisfaction, taking care of travelers while they're on the road. So I guess to sum it up, a big part of my job is listening to customers and taking their voice back to headquarters and figuring out how do we best serve them.
I have to ask then, here in APAC, what are you hearing from customers here in APAC that might have surprised you this week?
Oh, surprised. Well, I have such a fabulous team here. And so they're so in touch with their customers and do share this a lot. But what I have, first of all, people are so nice in this region and so wonderful and so welcoming and warm. And the conversations have been really productive. I feel as though there is a lot of forward thinking in the region, this willingness to try new things, again, back to that digital concept. So I have found that with people wanting to innovate and be a part of the solution, it's really I think been some really productive conversations, and travel's back. And so that's been exciting. Your data that you presented in the opening general session about how big this part of the world is.
How important.
I think it is everything that we remember that, and that what we're doing skews a little bit to this region and how best to serve these travelers.
So then that brings us to something we talked about this morning on stage, sustainability. And I know Marriott is doing a lot. This region cares about that. What is Marriott doing in the sustainability front as we wrap this up?
Yes, so that's a good question. We could talk all day about this, but I'll try to sum it up because I loved the sessions here because it started to make me think about what are we doing, what more we could doing. But as you know, we have set a target to be net carbon neutral by 2050. Lots of things we're doing along the way. But I think for this customer base that we are thinking about, first of all, data and reporting is everything. So we've got to be able to show all of our B2B customers their footprint and what our individual hotels in their programs are doing. So we're spending a lot of time on how to get 8,000 plus hotels, 32 plus brands, to use a common database that at any point in time we can pull really good relevant data for our customers, because they should expect that from us. So we're working on that. We're working on, obviously, there's one thing to talk about this, but there's another thing to doing things. So all of our hotels have very specific action items that they must do if they're going to be associated with our brands. Examples being responsible sourcing, particularly of food. When you think food waste is a big deal. Obviously everything to do with energy, and you think about even just all the things that have to do with what you do at a property, laundry, and how you do this more effectively and in a way that's more responsible. So our brand teams and our operation team, actually it's our operations teams that are really driving it, are working with the properties to reduce plastics. You'll notice there's very few hotels anymore that have little plastic bottles. They've got it's so refreshing, it's about time. So we're doing all of that, and then we've also got work in the meetings and event space, where we're making sure that we're working with our customers there to be able to either do responsible offsets, if that's how a corporation or an organization believes that's the way to do it, or finding ways, again, that's a place you can really affect food waste. Think about buffets and that type of thing in the meetings and event space. There's so much we can do together. So we are doing all these things along the line to get to that. It's a lot of work, but we have to do it. It's a responsible thing to do.
And it won't happen overnight, so taking these early steps is really important.
That's it.
So glad Marriott is leading the way. Thank you so much, Tammy Routh, for joining me today.
Thank you.
I'm Suzanne Neufang in Singapore at our GBTA 2024 APAC conference.